All right, what's going on, guys, and welcome to an E46 ZHP update video. It is March, but I'm going to be calling this the winter update because I haven't really updated you guys on this car in a little while. This thing is filthy, and actually it hasn't even had a nice spring wash or the wheels off or anything like that. So this is raw, weeks and weeks of just driving through the winter time, and I want to give you guys an update on the mileage, how the car is doing, because this car is 19 years old now and has over 100,000 miles. So a lot of people are curious of how that is to pretty much daily drive, especially now with the price of gas, which is not something that you want to be doing driving a giant truck like this. So I've kind of parked the Raptor for a little bit, just because even with premium, this car is cheaper to drive around than the truck. And driving to work and stuff, I don't really need the truck anyways. But so anyways, yeah, this thing has actually been really nice to have because it's pretty efficient, and it does take premium, but it's pretty light like compared to new cars. So it actually gets decent gas mileage. I get 30 on the highway and like 25, you know, kind of in the city. So really not too bad. And it's manual, you know, pretty sporty. So anyways, we're gonna walk around the car, a winter update, and I will try to do a wash update video for you guys if you guys are interested, and give you a little bit of thoughts, impressions of how the E46 is doing. All right, so let's start off with a mileage check. Jump into that right now. 123,000 miles, and generally been pretty good. Again, we've got raw footage for you guys. Yes, my car has all kinds of junk, and I actually do put a rubber floor mat in the driver's side just because it's just so salty and nasty, and this one actually fits pretty good in here. I just do the driver's side because it gets so much abuse. It's just a lot easier to just swap that in. And the passengers, I actually still have the M3 floor mats in there, which I know is kind of stupid, but they're kind of nice. So anyways, the biggest gripe I have with this car, pretty much since I've owned it a few years now, is the lock and unlock. And there's definitely something wrong or something weird going on with the whole system that controls that, especially if you press the lock unlock button in the center console here, which I never do anymore. Sometimes I accidentally press it, but certain combinations will result in you literally not being able to unlock any door unless you physically stick the key into this door. And then that's the only way you can get in. And sometimes you can't even open the other doors manually, so like even from the inside. So once you're in, pulling the handle to the passenger door doesn't even open the door, and it won't open from the outside. So there's a few occasions where I literally can only open the driver's door, which is honestly a big problem potentially. So anyways, thankfully usually it's just me driving this car, but every once in a while that is just so annoying. It's just one of those really weird, annoying features. I haven't been able to figure that out. Of course, the doors now are open, and to be honest with you, sometimes I just don't even lock the car because I'm afraid that when I go to unlock it the next time, I won't be able to unlock all the doors, which there's really nothing in the car to take anyway. So the other thing, let's see, this thing is still on the list, this little gasket here, so definitely need to address that. You guys can see just how dirty the car is. I know that may not look too bad for some people, but for me, it's just really caked. The wheels are really brown, so this is like a winter, total winter like situation here. The very last thing I'll get in here is something I thought I fixed, but it's with the climate control, and then every once in a while, the fan speed and the temperature will not work. So whatever setting it was on previously, it's not changeable. Pressing any of these buttons doesn't do anything. So if you set it on 72 at a medium speed, you'll just have to deal with that for the time being. I believe it's fused like 62 or 63 that you can pull out to turn this off, because when you take the key out, it stays on. Like the fan will stay on. I replaced the final stage unit, so I'm not really sure what the deal is. It's only happened a couple times after that, but those two electronic issues are really the only things, the only issues I'm having. But other than that, the car does need a clutch still. I did a new fresh shifter here. Alcantara needs a little detail, but I just got destroyed bird poop, front window. And yeah, I don't know if I mentioned to you guys, but I did get a new windshield. And of course, the A-pillars are kind of messed up now because they had to kind of take that out there. So I'll have to address that and just fix them and make them nice and fresh. So I have to decide what to do there. But other than that, I mean, the car is pretty good. Still good on gas, as I mentioned. And there's no other issues other than kind of those two things. All right, yeah, you guys can see the streaks of disgustingness. New grills on the list. In the engine bay, not too much exciting happening here. Really, the only thing which will be underneath the car, you won't be able to see that in this video, is the oil pan gasket leaking, which on a 19-year-old BMW, when it's original, pretty normal. It's seeping, actually, is a better way of saying it. Seeping. I don't find myself having to top up oil pretty much ever in this car, which is nice, but it is seeping, so when you go underneath, it is kind of nasty. The dirt kind of collects around there, which kind of sucks. But other than that, I think mechanically the car is good. I did a full cooling system, the reservoir, the cap, the gaskets, the hoses, the thermostat, a bunch of other cooling system, whatever FCP Euro kit comes with. I did that, and the car's been good. Gotta know the trick there. Tires, we're still rocking the Michelin AS3s. These are the all seasons, obviously. Still pretty good tread. These I just run all year round. And then when it is really, really, really bad, I drive the truck, which in the wintertime, the truck just makes a lot more sense when it's that much snow, because here we've actually had a tremendous amount of snow and salt to deal with when normally it's kind of just moderate. So there's a lot more this year, so I ended up not driving this car as much. Even with snow tires, when you have a foot of snow, a car like this it's just not gonna do so well, especially rear-wheel drive. So not ideal. But yeah, so other than that, the car is good. We got the wheels. Need a little attention there. I even have some curb rash here, of course, from the previous owner, and then we gotta get some fresh caps, maybe some center caps too. Even the bolts are looking a little funky, so this car could really use a nice spring rejuvenation. Hopefully you guys are interested in seeing some of that content on the E46. I tell you what, with the car market nowadays, I'm going to be honest with you, I really consider selling this sometimes, just because the prices of these are really pretty strong. You know, it's kind of the fun version of the E46 if you don't want the M3, which you probably do want the M3, but for some reason, if you want a different iteration, this is pretty good too, for what it is. I still am amazed. So yeah, anyways, yeah, the dirt's collected there. I don't really know why I'm looking at the gas thing. You guys get to see, oh my gosh, what's going on here. It's kind of weird to have shoes in here, but I have this was from my tiling job in the kitchen, so of course I threw some grout or whatever, and the bag of grout is never fully sealed. That's like the rule. So but anyways, yeah, so what's nice is the rubber mat. Again, not a huge fan of rubber mats, but you know what, this actually works well, and this car is kind of a little bit of a workhorse, especially when it's projects like that. The only downside, no pass-through on this car. Really sucks. So that's where the M5, I remember, was kind of nice, as I could stick something there and you wouldn't even know. I was actually thinking about it the other day. Spoiler would be nice, because I know a lot of these cars had those. So when I address the paint issues, the only issues on the paint is this, like the door handles, specifically the door handles only, and then the roof rails, like right there. Every other part of the paint, besides those areas, is literally fine. And I spent over 40 hours paint correcting, and I did not find any sort of clear coat issues other than those areas, which is really, really nice. So I can actually take those pieces off, get them fixed up. And again, I'm sure you guys have heard that. It's on the list, but really just been kind of distracted with other things right now. But this is an update. Winter update going into spring. The tint is nice. It looks really dark in this garage, by the way. It is 20%. 20% is like my favorite. But in some applications, it really looks, I mean, you can see through it. But the way that the lights are in this garage, I think makes it look darker than it really is. But it is a solid tint to have, keeps it cooler, looks much better. I feel like the car looks much more updated with it, especially with the Shadowline trim, looks really nice. And that's about it. So I think that's a nice little walk around of the car. This is a new badge. So it's just been a lot of little things, but other than just the normal running costs, the car's been pretty good. All right, guys, so I think that's it. This is my winter or early spring update on the ZHP. I really do like this car. I think from the very beginning, I probably originally said something like, you know, hey, I haven't really been interested in these cars historically, but it was just one of the right place, right time. And it's really panned out. I have space for it. It's fun. And it's a good sort of daily commuter, to be honest with you, besides the manual, which traffic with any manual is kind of a pain, but generally I'm not commuting in stop and go traffic. And yeah, it's been pretty good. So anyways, that's the update on the car. Let me know if you guys have any input on the weird, like the lock unlock thing with this, especially. It's just one of those convenience things where like the windows or the door locks, something you use like all the time. And if it doesn't work, it's just so annoying. So I haven't figured out what the actual issue is, and generally it's been okay, but there's been a handful of times it's not been. So anyways, that's my feedback. 19-year-old BMW, still pretty good. And still gonna stay in the garage for now. So thanks guys again for watching, and I'll see you next time.